Oh boy, I'm sure this will get an interesting response from both sides, but Hendrick Motorsports has basically won the appeal. So if you missed it a couple of weeks ago after the Phoenix race, or before the Phoenix race actually, Hendrick Motorsports had their hood louvers, I still don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry, but they had those confiscated and taken by NASCAR to be further researched, investigated, whatever you want to call it. Well, NASCAR did their investigation and figured out that Hendrick Motorsports had tampered with a third source part. What's it called? An independent source part. Basically, something you're not allowed to touch. You get the piece and you put it on the car. You are not allowed to adjust it. You're not allowed to modify it. You're not allowed to do anything to it. Well, Hendrick Motorsports did something to it. Hendrick Motorsports got an L2 penalty. Every single driver or owners, each team, so the 5, the 9, the 24, the 48, were all docked 100 driver and 100 owner points, except for the 9 because they don't really have a driver's points right now, so they didn't lose those points. They also had all 4 crew chiefs suspended for, I think it was 4 races. I think they've missed 2 now. And they also received monetary fines of $100,000 per team, I believe. We've seen other teams in NASCAR get L2 penalties since the next-gen car. Remember, the whole point of the next-gen car is to almost even up the field to make some of the mid-pack teams more competitive in terms of the race win and have not such a wide margin from first to last, and to make the cars cheaper, a cheaper cost as well. But we've seen NASCAR really come down hard on a lot of teams with these L2 penalties, with these penalties when you mess with a part that is not supposed to be messed with. We saw Brad Keselowski and RFK get nailed with this penalty last year. We saw Kevin Harvick and Stewart-Haas Racing get hit with this penalty last year. We saw Denny Hamlin and Joe Gibbs Racing get hit with this penalty. Well, not this penalty, but they got a win taken away from them. So really, NASCAR has been hitting teams hard. It doesn't matter who you are. As I said, RFK, Joe Gibbs Racing, Stewart-Haas. So you got some really big teams there. And then, of course, just a couple of weeks ago, Hendrick Motorsports. Hendrick Motorsports, in a sense, has won the appeal. They get all of their points back. That is right. Let's look at the statement. The National Motorsports Appeals Panel ruled Wednesday to amend the L2 level penalties issued to Hendrick Motorsports for unapproved parts modifications entering the March 12th weekend at Phoenix Raceway. The decision upholds the fines of $100,000 issued to the numbers 5, 9, 24, and 48 Cup Series teams, respectively, as well as the 4 race suspensions handed down to the 4 crew chiefs. However, each team is restored 100 owners' points and 10 playoff points. Kyle Larson, William Byron, and Alex Bowman received the same points back from the initial reduction. Xfinity Series regular Josh Berry drove the 9 car at Phoenix in place of injured Chase Elliott and was not penalized as he does not compete for Cup points. The appeals panel members for this hearing were Kelly Housby, Dixon Johnston, and Bill Lester. So yeah, the appeals committee is actually not directly, it's not NASCAR who is actually listening to the appeal. You know, it's not like Jim France, Steve O'Donnell, and Steve Phelps listening to the appeal. They have the National Motorsports Appeals Panel. And so it was a former Truck Series driver, Bill Lester, a Hall tractor supplier, Kelly Housby, and then a Procter & Gamble brand manager, Dixon Johnston. That is who the committee was. How do they pick that committee? I don't know. I just know that it's different every time. So I really don't know how they choose it. But the fact of the matter, NASCAR did not actually make this decision. And that's why it gets interesting here. Look at what NASCAR had to say about the appeal. We are pleased that the National Motorsports Appeals Panel agreed that Hendrick Motorsports violated the rulebook. However, we are disappointed that the entirety of the penalty was not upheld. A points penalty is a strong deterrent that is necessary to govern the garage following rulebook violations, and we believe that it was an important part of the penalty in this case and moving forward. We will continue to inspect and officiate the NASCAR garage at the highest level of scrutiny to ensure a fair and level playing field for our fans in the entire garage. So yeah, NASCAR is not exactly happy about the appeal decision. Sure, the whole penalty wasn't completely won. I know I titled this video that they won the appeal, but if you think about it, Hendrick Motorsports won this appeal. They can afford the fines, and if they lose their crew chiefs, yes, it'll hurt them a little bit, but it's early in the season. It's not the playoffs. None of them are on the bubble right now. Like, they'll get over it. They'll make up for it. They'll be fine. So really, getting those 100 points back is what Hendrick Motorsports wanted, and it's what they got. Alex Bowman's back to being the points leader. William Byron's third in the points. Kyle Larson's ninth in the points. William Byron gets his 2 wins back, essentially, in terms of the playoff points. He didn't lose the actual wins, but he lost the playoff points. He gets those back. Hendrick Motorsports got all the points back. I didn't think they were going to win this appeal. I really didn't. We have yet to see NASCAR rule an appeal win for an L2 penalty in the Cup Series. I think someone made a list. I think like a truck disqualification got overturned last year or something. I can't remember exactly. But so the appeals panel has overturned things before. Like, remember, they overturned the Byron penalty. They said no points deduction. We're just going to double your fine. They've changed things before, but it's never been to this level of extreme. So I'm very surprised that they overturned it. And NASCAR not being happy with it, to me, shows like, yeah, they really violated the rules here. I don't know how they got away with it. There must have been some technicality in the rule book, I guess, since it was before the race. That's what Hendrick Motorsports was arguing, is that it was before the race. It never affected their actual race performance. They complied 100%. They never tried to hide anything. So that was what their argument was, and I really don't get how they won. I really don't. I don't know if they had to pay him off. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. But, you know, it's really surprising to me that they won this appeal. As I said, these L2 penalties have not usually been won in terms of appeal, not even reduced. Hendrick Motorsports got all their points back. The crew chiefs are still suspended. They still got the fine, but they lost all their points. Like, 100 points is a lot of points. That essentially took them out of the regular season championship contention, and now 2 of their 3 cars are back in it. That's pretty wild. That's pretty crazy. I'm very shocked that they won this penalty. As I said, NASCAR's been really hard on teams with the new next-gen car, and if you break a rule, like, it's black and white. Like, there's no in-between. Now it seems like there's an in-between. I feel like we just found it. Hendrick Motorsports found it, and the appeals panel kind of just messed everything up for NASCAR in terms of their future penalties, you know? If someone gets another penalty in 3 weeks, like, can they appeal the penalty, find the small technicality, and get it overturned? I feel like, you know, this could set a bad precedent in terms of future cases, in terms of rules being broken. I don't know. Just something feels weird about this to me. That's just my opinion. You know, losing 100 points is a massive penalty. That's a massive, in a sense, accusation to say a team blatantly cheated, in a sense, and messed with a part they weren't supposed to, got hit with a really hard penalty. And the fact that the majority of that penalty was overturned in an appeals decision, something just feels weird to me. I don't know how to describe it, but it feels weird. So, yeah, I'm really surprised that they got it. Hendrick Motorsports had a statement, or Rick Hendrick said something. He said, "We are grateful to the National Motorsports Appeal Panel for their time and attention. Today's outcome reflects the facts, and we're pleased the panel did the right thing by overturning the points penalty. It validated our concerns regarding unclear communication and other issues we raised. We look forward to focusing on the rest of our season, beginning with this weekend's race at Richmond." So, yeah. But yes, NASCAR handed that big penalty out, and Hendrick Motorsports said we did not break the rules. They appealed it, and they got a majority of the penalty rescinded, in a sense. So, yeah, they essentially, in my opinion, won the appeal. They got all their points back. They'll still lose $400,000, which is a lot of money, but for a race team, especially a big race team like Hendrick, they can afford it. And losing their crew chiefs, they'll get over it. So I'm very surprised that they won this penalty appeal, at least. And yeah, it's really surprising. It really is. I didn't see this coming. I didn't think they'd win it, but yeah, just thought I'd let you know that Hendrick Motorsports did indeed win their appeal. Kind of surprising, but let me know what your thoughts are. If another team gets penalized this season, how easy will it be for them to appeal it, or will it ever be possible to win an appeal again? How difficult is this going to be, or how unique is this situation, I guess? And let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.